Just 3 races remain in the chase for the Firestone Firehawk Cup. This weekend in Sonoma, 2 races face top contenders Richard Antonucci and Rafael Matos in their quest for the title. Who will emerge as the favorite heading into the season's final event? The Sonoma Twin 100s are next. 5/10,000ths of a second.
3 wide into 1.
Wheel to wheel all the way through the corner.
Drag race to the finish. It is dead even.
The season is quickly winding down in the Firestone Indy Light Series. Just 3 more races remaining, 2 here at Infineon Raceway. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins along with Robbie Buell. 2 road course races here and then an oval at Chicagoland. So how do the drivers approach this race, Robbie?
Well, let's talk about Rafa and Richard, our 2 points leaders, probably the best 2 guys on road courses. I think the mindset here is it's a double race weekend, and what happens in race 1 determines where you start in race 2. So the mindset of these drivers, sure, they want to run flat out, they want to win this race, but in the back of their mind, they got to say, hey, I need to finish race 1 in a good spot because that determines where I start race 2. They all got to think about the points.
And, of course, it's important to start up front in race number 1 also. And with more on that, here's Mike King.
Richard Antonucci has been at or near the top of the Firestone Indy Lights Championship standings throughout the season. Today, Richard, you start in the 2nd row behind Frank Pereira and Rafael Matos, the man who is chasing you in the championship standings. How key is the start here at Infineon today?
Oh, it's going to be key. You know, you got to survive it and get out there unscathed out of the first lap, first corner, and hopefully gain or at least maintain our position. You know, we have 2 cars in front of us, and hopefully throughout this race we can make inroads on Matos and Pereira. You know, we're not racing Pereira for the championship, but like to win races regardless, you know, for the team and myself. So we're going to try our best to have a solid run. We've really been focusing on race pace, so hopefully it'll prove to be good.
Richard Antonucci leads Rafa Matos by 4 points going into race number 1 here at Infineon.
All right, thanks, Mike. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's race at the top of your screen as the cars are making their way toward turn number 7 of this 12-turn road course. And we'll also check with Robbie here on what he thinks the keys to this race will be.
Well, the keys, you've heard these all before, but number 1 here is focus, rhythm. You don't want to put a wheel wrong at all. It's like a ski racer. When a ski racer skis gates, he sets them out 1 turn to the next, and once you get behind, you're all just playing catch-up. That's how much rhythm you need here, so you got to have the focus. From there, finesse. You never have a perfect race car. There's always give and take. So driver finesse is a big thing. Driver experience, that falls into that category as well. From there, fitness. This place, you don't have any time to breathe. And you're going to have to be on the wheel all day and use every little bit of this track to be fast.
23 cars are lined up getting set for the green flag. It's a 30-lap race, the first of 2 here at Infineon Raceway. They will race again tomorrow, and then we'll wrap up the season, of course, at Chicagoland. Frank Pereira on the front row for only the 2nd time this year. But Rafael Matos is on the front row for the 7th time this year. Will that be a factor in the early going here? Pace car is off the track. Pereira pulls ahead just a little bit. This is the 11th of 12 turns.
And the way with where Rafa's set up, he may have the advantage getting into turn 2, which is after turn 1, a right-hander. So let's see how this plays out.
Green flag comes out. Pereira does have the lead as there's a spin in the back of the pack, and wow, it looks like that everybody avoided contact. That's a miracle in itself.
And what took place there is even before they got to turn 1 or somewhere in turn 1, Antonucci snuck up into the 2nd spot right behind Pereira and already has 4 or 5 car lengths on Rafa there. So that wasn't a good start.
Logan Gomez running there in 4th position of the 23, and that's J.R. Hildebrand right behind him running in 5th position. A couple of cars get their left side tires off the track and kick up a little bit of dust, but no big problem. Here comes Anna Beatrice, and she is followed by Daniel Harrington. The battle is between 22, that's Pablo Donoso, and the 33 car of Mitch Cunningham.
Here we're just looking at him coming into turn 7. This is a good passing zone here down to 2nd gear. And look at 3 wide there, sorting themselves out. Pablo Donoso on the high side there, the yellow and green car, gets it all done.
44 is Robbie Pecorari. There's the battle up front. First 5 cars running together on the racetrack, and a little bit of separation back to the sixth place car of Anna Beatrice.
Very good, very difficult racetrack to pass, like a lot of road courses. But here, there's not really any one straightaway that makes a nice, easy braking area to pass. So when you look at these guys up front, we got Pereira that's leading. He's got a pretty big gap. Here's the race we got to watch. This is the championship race. You got Antonucci chasing Matos. So Matos snuck by Antonucci. Yep. That was probably down there in turn 11, that hairpin before you come onto the front straightaway. But two championship contenders here. They know where each other is, so they know the game they got to play. And right now, they both need to finish race 1 just to be in a position for race 2.
And J.R. Hildebrand with a nice move. He passes Logan Gomez. So, yeah, Rafa has moved to second position, putting Antonucci back to third. There is Hildebrand and Gomez. Now, J.R., this is his home racetrack. He grew up about 30 miles from this racetrack in Sausalito, California, and has won many races here. He ran go-karts here. He ran the Russell Racing School and Formula Russell, and made his Firestone Indy Lights debut here and finished in 20th position. He says in addition to his home cooking, returning home, he looks forward mostly to driving his own personal car, a 1995 Firebird Trans Am. Full course yellow has come out.
You know, you talk about JR, there's our full course yellow.
That's Mark Olson, who has spun off course in the Michael Crawford machine, and he is not going to go anywhere.
No, that would be high center. Yeah. Let's take a look. There he's spinning, coming back across the track. Look at all the stones and debris that comes up. Now he's just going to roll up here, get high centered, and you can't get off of there.
No way he will get out of that situation. Frank Pereira has the lead over Matos, Antonucci, Hildebrand, and Gomez. Stay with us. We'll be right back to Infineon Raceway. Back at Infineon Raceway, we are about to go green following a caution brought about by Mark Olson, who spun off the track. Field is getting set for the restart next time they cross the start-finish line. Now, when they were coming to the flag originally, we saw a car spin in about the middle of the pack, and we have an opportunity to go back and see exactly what happened there.
So take a look on the right part of the screen. There's a little bump. There's Cindy Allman. She's going by. In the car that spun there, that's Tom Dyer. This is his first event here. He's an instructor here for Russell. Had a good run driving for Michael Crawford. Now he's all the way back. He's got some work to do.
Cindy Allman came in, replaced the nose on her car, but is set to go again. Look at Anna Beatrice and Logan Gomez are side by side for the restart.
Yeah, and Bia went by him. Now, if the green flag was out, that's fine. I will have to find out what that is.
Well, the green flag does come out. We are back to racing. There's a great elevation change at this racetrack. Down here, they are at 16 feet above sea level. They begin this climb here that goes clear to turn number 3, and it's a total of about 135 feet.
Yeah, and you just don't get a sense of that elevation. We're going to ride on board with Rafa. Let's take a look at this. Turn 4 down to second gear here. He's still going downhill. Second gear all the way up to 5th gear. Very fast section of the racetrack. Now in turn 6. Look at this blind rise. The car gets light. Now it settles down. 4th gear. Now he wants to pick up the throttle, pick it up, transitioning out onto the straightaway. This is where the track has changed now. They used to go left there, now they go straight down to turn 7, creating what they thought was a better passing zone, and it probably is, but always tough to pass here on road course. Second gear, now we're coming up through the S's. At the end of the S's, this is the fastest section on the racetrack. You really have to be precise where you put the car here. Very fast. 6th gear, car gets a little light there on the rise. Now hard braking, just kind of a quick transition. Right, left, 2nd gear. You don't want the car to wait. You don't want to hesitate. Back to the throttle, 2nd gear, 3rd, 4th. Some guys maybe even go up to 5th gear as you come down in to turn 11 here. Hard braking. This is where it leads on the front straightaway. This is where we saw the incident at the start of the race, even before the start-finish line. Up to 5th gear, up to 6th gear, turn 1. This is flat out. The car gets a big G-load. You bottom out, down to 2nd gear. Look at the elevation. Car gets light on that rise. 2nd gear, you see him working the wheel. Fantastic place, you know. Focus, finesse. It's physical. It's a great place. Driver's racetrack.
Indeed. Let's get down to Mike King on pit lane. It's with Gary Peterson.
Gary Peterson is the car owner of car number 27, driven by championship contender Rafa Matos. And Gary, the AFS Andretti green car, still running second. already had a couple of high blood pressure moments in this one. Before the race even started, you guys were a little worried.
Yeah, our driver Rafa, you know, Brazilian's already got a pretty high heartbeat, but now it's probably another 100 degrees. Anyway, what happened to Rafa right before the start, 1 minute to go, and the car would not fire, electrical problem, something, and we just panicked, and all of a sudden it just took off. So I don't know if that's a battery or what, but hopefully it'll stay together.
And then, Gary, you guys were none too happy with the start, but the Firestone Indy Lights Series officials agreed with your protest, and they decided to agree.
Yeah, the number 7 car, Antonucci's car, jumped the start, past Matos before the green, so they put him back. I had to do a little bit of arguing to get him back there, but everything's good. We just got to calm our driver down.
Fair to say this championship battle has you on pins and needles?
Yeah, it's really tight. I think we're 4 points out right now, so it's going to be a good day. We got one more race, though.
So Gary Peterson watched from atop the pit cart with Ari Lyondike Sr. And boy, I tell you what, guys, he is a nervous Nelly right now here at Indy Raceway. Bob?
You know, actually, Rafa is in the points lead right now. A 4-point separation heading into this race, but whoever leads the other, he's the points leader. And Rafa is in second place right now, 5 points to that position. And Antonucci is back in third. So there you can see the separation of just 1 point with Anna Beatrice running in third position of the point standings as of right now. But of course, we got 20 more laps to go.
Yeah, and you can't describe the tension that just took place there. That was Gary Peterson, owner of Rafa. Now, what just happened is Antonucci jumped him on the start, and when we saw Rafa go by him, or we saw that transition take place, he had to get that spot up. But remember, this is the battle for the championship right here. We got one race after this. We got 2 races at this track. This is the first one. Then we have another, and then we go to the Chicago final. And you have these 2 contenders that had to do a swap because Antonucci was a little aggressive at the start, had to give it back. But the fact that this is the battle for who's going to be the champion in 08. It just doesn't get any better.
And by the way, that final race at Chicagoland Speedway will be live on ESPN2 Sunday, September the 7th at 12:30 Eastern, so you can see live who comes out as the champion of this series.
And really what it is, if these guys can keep each other in sight, they know what they have to do, they know where they stand. But as we roll into that last race in Chicago, if we have this type of event here where they both can keep each other in touch, it may be just as simple as who can beat who on the track in Chicago to take that championship.
Yep.
You know, as a past driver, I wouldn't want to go into the last race knowing that's what the deal was.
With Chicago, one of the fastest and most competitive racetracks on the schedule. There's Frank Pereira. He has led since a drop of the green flag from pole position. And you know, a good coach is important in any sport, but when you're traveling at over 180 miles an hour, it is vital. Drivers in the Firestone Indy Light Series have the opportunity to learn the ropes and the ovals from the best coach there is.
Rick Mears becomes the third four-time winner of the Indianapolis 500.
Remember our driver coach, Rick Mears? He was the master of the ovals, obviously. You have him, use him.
He's Rick Mears, you know, I don't know what else to say about it.
You have to hear him because he did everything better than you.
He's always got time for people, and he's a really nice guy, and that's why he has 4 rings.
I was very fortunate. A lot of it came kind of natural to me. And I have learned that the part that came natural for me doesn't always come natural for everybody else. And I maybe get a little frustrated when I shouldn't. My patience maybe run a little short because, to me, you just do it, you know. And so sometimes I have to back myself up and realize that it doesn't come quite as easy for some people.
That's part of learning, is not running quite as hard as you should sometimes. But like I always say, you'd rather have somebody toned down than try to pick up.
To me, a bump is a tool for me to use.
One of the things I try to teach is the big picture, not just what's going on the racetrack. Yeah, we're racing and we're competing, but we're also, you know, we're trying to build a series here. All the youngsters will roll their eyes when I say, hey, take care of the other guy. You know, you'll do yourself a favor by taking care of them. And it's like, yeah, right. You know, I'm out to beat them, not take care of them. But my point is, if you take care of them, that means they aren't going to take you out.
Look how close they are.
Fantastic.
The whole point to all that is getting to the finish line.
Dylan Battistini looking at perhaps the biggest victory of his career. He wins the Firestone Freedom 100.
If you don't get to the finish line, you don't accomplish anything.
Frank Pereira continues to lead. He has a 3-second advantage over Rafael Matos at this point and a 6.5-second advantage over Antonucci. Here comes Rafa Matos in second and the third place car there of Antonucci. Behind them, Hildebrand, Gomez, Beatrice, Harrington, Donoso, Reed, Pecorari, the top 10. Now there is Ari Leyendijk, and while we were away, he lost 4 positions. He's currently back in 18th position when he spun. But that's not the problem for Ari Leyendijk Jr. You remember we told you last week he had surgery on his left knee. Well, he tore the stitches out during the practice session, the testing session on Thursday. And so, you know, he's got to be in great pain as he races here this afternoon.
No question about it. I mean, from a driver's standpoint, he's a left foot braker, and when you go to the pedal, let's take a look. Here's Ari. This is a spin. This is coming through turn 11, just going back to power, and the car spins around. But really, what's breaking his concentration is the pain of just pressing down on that brake pedal.
Let's go down to Mike King, who is with his father, Ari Leyendijk Sr.
Yeah, Robbie, to expound a little bit on what you were just talking about, Ari Sr. was concerned about Ari Jr. In the 26 car for today's race, particularly if there were any long runs of green flag laps. And right now, we're approaching a 14th consecutive lap under green flag condition. He said, Robbie, that after about 5 continuous laps, he is beginning to lose feeling in the left knee, and because of that, he does not have a good touch on the clutch pedal. And as you mentioned, he is a left foot braker. And Robbie, I'm not sure how he's able to continue here, but apparently the swelling is also a problem. And Bob, as you mentioned, he did rip out some sutures on Thursday during the test session. But right now, Robbie, it appears that the pain in the knee is transferring to touch in the left foot and is giving him problems with that clutch pedal.
Yeah, and what that is, he just doesn't have any feel on that brake pedal. You know, you can't control it. But every time he comes into a corner and he's got to get the car slowed down, it's just, you got to be saying, oh, I don't want to go the brake pedal. But you got to, and it is a lot of pressure to slow these cars down.
Best battle on the racetrack is Johnny Reed in the 77 and Robbie Pecorari in the 44. Now, you remember Johnny Reed was driving for Integra Motorsports and was leading that second race at Mid-Ohio. Under caution, came in before the checkered flag and lost the race to James Davison. So he is now driving for Sam Schmidt Motorsports this weekend in the 77 car, and that is Pecorari right behind him. This is the battle for 9th position.
Yeah, and you talk about that incident in Mid-Ohio with Johnny Reed and James Davison, both driving for the same team. I went in the transporter yesterday and talked to those guys. I said, hey, so you owe him one, he owes you one? How does all that work? And it created a little bit of sparring. I said, oh, see you later, guys. But Pecorari right there driving for Guthrie, he definitely has a faster car than Johnny Reed, but it's one thing to have a faster car. You know, you've got to be able to get past that guy in front of you, get by him cleanly, and it's tough to do on a busy racetrack like this that doesn't have any long straightaways. And as they come through this next transition of corners, this is turn 6 that leads on to the section of the racetrack that they changed to create a better braking zone for 7. So that's where this is, coming on to here. But right now, he's not close enough to make that pass.
Yeah, this is the drag strip, actually, and they continue straight down the drag strip instead of taking the left-hand turn under another portion of the road course. That's the change from last year to this year for these drivers. Robbie Pecorari, one of 7 race drivers coming into this event who had experience in the Firestone Indy Light Series on this racetrack. The most experienced, Jonathan Klein, who has raced here 3 times, and Mike Podikin, who has also raced here on 3 different occasions. Jonathan Klein, by the way, is into the number 2 car, replacing Jeff Simmons, who is out of that ride. And of course, Pablo Donoso is back in the 22 car this weekend. There is Jonathan Klein. He's running in the 16th position at the moment.
Yeah, it's good to see Jonathan back here. We haven't seen him much this year. He was at Mid-Ohio, so it's good to see him back in a race car and just get back in the minds of the Indy Lights teams as well as the IndyCar teams. You know, his first year here when he drove for Sam Schmidt. Did a fantastic job, had a good season, was a contender for the championship, was a contender every weekend.
Let's go back and check on this battle between Reed and Pecorari. They remain in the same position, but it's pretty much the best battle on the racetrack.
Yeah, he's getting closer here as they come into the hard braking zone for 7. He'll look down the inside. You know, he wasn't close enough, but look, there he goes. He made a little bit of a mistake, didn't get it done, but you saw the lockup from Johnny Reed. So just by filling his mirrors a little bit, breaking the concentration, that's what Robbie needs to do. Just create that opening. And right now he's all over him. Can you get it done? Tough braking zone, not going to happen. Slowest corner on the track right here, down to second gear, that little 9A, 9B transition.
They'll
Really
continue to put the pressure on here as they head to corner number 11.
And it absolutely, yes, this is a tough road course to pass on, but remember, everybody is running the same. Everybody's got Dallara chassis, Firestone tires. Everybody has the same horsepower. I mean, it really is a function of team, driver, engineer, all working together and showing their ability. Adjustments on the race car. Everybody has the same adjustments. You got a weight jacker. Not sure that does anything for you on the road course here. You got some sway bars that can adjust, you know, how the front of the car rolls around and gets grip, how the rear of the car. Again, it's minor changes when you get into a race like this. Right now, it's all up to the driver and that driver finesse. You also have bias, brake bias, front and rear, and sometimes how you adjust that bias can affect how the car will roll and turn into a car.
Yeah, Pecorari couldn't get the job done that time either at the one of the passing areas. So he remains back in 10th position as Frank Pereira has a 3-second advantage on Rafael Matos. Frank Pereira continues to lead here at Infineon Raceway, the first of 2 races here at this facility this weekend. He has led all the way since drop of the green flag. He started from pole position and right now has a 3.4-second advantage on Rafael Matos. And by the same token, he has about a 5-second advantage over Richard Antonucci, who is running in the 3rd position. There's Richard coming out of turn number 11. So again, right now, Rafa Matos has a 1-point advantage in the standings over Antonucci as they run right now. And here's a good battle for the past few laps. Anna Beatrice is in the green and white car. She's running in 6th position and has been hounded substantially in the last few laps by Daniel Harrington, who of course is in this car that was originally driven this year by Andrew Prindeville.
Yeah, he's taken that ride over, and a good ride it is. I mean, you know, he knows this is a good opportunity for him to show his ability and set it up for next year.
His best finish this year was at Watkins Glen. In the first race, he finished in 8th position, and he's coming off an 11th place finish on the oval at Kentucky. Anna Beatrice, by the same token, she is 3rd in the point standings, just 70 behind at the moment, and has moved up, at least at this point in the race, 2 positions in the standings.
She's done a great job all year, no question about it.
And remember, we talked about the Johnny Reed and Robbie Pecorari battle before we went to break, and here it is. They continue to run in the same order. Reed has the advantage and has not been willing to give it up.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what we saw about 6-7 laps ago.
White flag comes out, and there's 1 more lap to go on this 2.3-mile 12-turn road course at Infineon. Frank Pereira looking to pick up his first victory in the Firestone Indy Light Series.
Yep. And probably impacted a lot of dirt and eventually tripped it. So here, let's take a look. Oh, that's something happened prior to getting out on the dirt. So he was upside down on the pavement.
On the racetrack, yeah.
And I would what has to happen there is when, with open wheel racing, IndyCar style racing, you lock those wheels and one car is launched off another car's wheel, and that's got to be what happened.
Well, it's only Mitch's 8th race of the year. Yesterday here at Infineon, he started 8th and finished in 11th position, and his day ends upside down. But it's good to see that he was able to climb out of the car while it was still overturned, and apparently is okay. Well, next up for the Firestone Indy Lights, the chase for the Firestone Firehawk Cup concludes at Chicagoland Speedway. Don't miss the incredible side-by-side action as the Firestone Indy Lights champion will be crowned live for the first time ever. The Chicagoland 100 airs on ESPN2 Sunday, September 7th at 12:30 Eastern. Green flag will wave here in just a moment to restart this race after Mitch Cunningham on the very first lap got upside down up in the high point of the racetrack. He climbed out and is apparently okay. There was no other car that came to pit lane because of damage. Ari Lyondike Jr. did come to pit lane, but that was simply a radio problem. And so we get set to go back to racing once again.
So everybody weaving back and forth there, getting tire temperature. Logan Gomez in that all-yellow Izod car. He said, you know, they've made some changes in his car. He feels it's very fast. It's great to be fast, but it's hard to pass here. That's what we're going to watch here the rest of this race.
Gomez did pick up one position. He passed Anna Beatrice on that first lap, and so he runs third, and the first three cars take off. There's Gomez trying to go to the inside of Daniel Harrington, and he will take second position.
Yeah, he wasn't lying, was he? He said, I think I can make some changes in my car, make it that much better. And sure enough, look at him go.
Pablo Donoso is the leader of the race after starting on pole as a result of the draw. But now there's Harrington coming back up on Logan Gomez.
And that was Bia looking down the inside into turn 4. Can you get it done? No. Really, really tough to pass here.
And is in the green and white car. That's J.R. Hildebrand right behind her. Then come the two contending for the points. Antonucci is in the red and white, and Rafael Matos right behind him.
Now this is the new area of the track, the best passing zone probably right there. But you got to be, when you come off that sweeping carousel turn, turn 6, you really need to be on the tail end of the car in front of you to make a clean pass.
On board with Matos. It's Hildebrand, the hometown boy, number 25. There are the points as of now. Antonucci back in the lead by 1 over Matos.
Yep. And what these guys want, I mean, we've said it before between Rafa and Richard, is they just want to know where each other is on the course. And right now they know exactly where each other is, 6 and 7. And that what they need right now is both of these guys need to finish this race. They can finish right where they are. The one's hoping the other one has a mechanical or doesn't make a mistake and goes off the track and really gives the advantage of a points gain of somebody going to the tail of the field and staying here in the top 5.
Going to be quite a showdown in Chicago at Chicagoland Speedway when the 2008 Firestone Indy Lights Series concludes. And the battle for the championship will finally come to a head. It's been quite a battle among several drivers during the year, and apparently it's going to boil down to just 2, Antonucci and Matos. So Pablo Donoso leads over Gomez, Harrington, Beatrice, and Hildebrand at Infineon Raceway. We'll be right back. 11 of 30 laps completed in the second race of the Firestone Indy Lights Series here at Infineon Raceway, north of San Francisco. Pablo Donoso leads. There is Logan Gomez running right behind him. Officially 0.6 of a second separates the front two. Then comes Daniel Harrington, Anna Beatrice, J.R. Hildebrand, and then the 2 points contenders. Antonucci is 6 and Matos is 7.
And as we said earlier, these guys just want to keep each other in sight. Now, sure, Rafa wants to get by Richard, but he doesn't want to compromise himself of taking himself out and making a high-risk pass. If he did get compromised and got in there, as we were talking about earlier, he should just take them both out so he doesn't hurt himself. But he won't do anything stupid. If he can make a clean pass, he will. But you don't want to compromise yourself and go to the end of the queue or get no points from this event.
Mike King is down in Rafa's pit. Mike?
Yeah, you know, Bob and Robbie, the point you make is a valid one and a concern of sorts for Gary Peterson, one of the owners of ASF, AFS, Andretti Green Racing. In standing and watching one of the practice sessions a couple of days ago with Gary, he said that one of their biggest problems with Rafa is the fact that he has a very difficult time not wanting to pass the car in front of him immediately. And he said they work with him on his patience. And Robbie, in this situation, an ill-timed pass could cost him a championship. And so they're very happy right now with the patience that Rafa Matos is showing out there.
And he is showing good patience and good judgment. But again, a race driver always wants to get by the guy in front of him and get to the front. So he has to manage this. He's got to remember there's one race left after this, and it's the championship on the line. I think, you know, just from watching these two battle, and Rafa closes a little bit on Richard under braking. You know, sometimes he's a little faster in some places, but then he gives it back in others. So right now we're really seeing that nobody is challenging anybody throughout the whole field of making a pass, because it's just that difficult around this racetrack. Even if you're faster than the guy in front of you, it is darn hard to be close enough and make a clean pass.
Well, it's no secret that drivers, especially in this day and age, have to keep in top physical condition. As we found out from Indy Lights driver James Davison and his trainer, there are certainly creative ways out there to stay in shape and have fun. Let's take a look.
What the drivers do every day: race or workout. So I made a program where we do a specific stint in the car and then immediately come right back out here and do circuit training. Okay, this will be the last one. Then we're going to go right back in the cart. 3 minutes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You can't leave any stone unturned. It's such a fine line between making it and not. That's why I'm here, to improve my conditioning and mental approach. The moment you hop back straight in the cart, you can feel you didn't feel quite as strong as you did before. You're pushing yourself physically outside of the cart before you hop back in it.
Kind of a newborn giraffe on ice. I mean, just all over the place. Huge improvements now. But just within the 6-7 months, his cardiovascular-wise and his strength has improved big time.
You've got to be training hard and focused, because you can guarantee if you're going to leave 1/10 at a particular corner, there's going to be 4 or 5 or even 6 guys that are going to pick it up. There's some very good guys out there, a few years older, a bit more experienced, but that's what I'm up against, and definitely, you know, want to continue doing this, and who knows, we may even take it to another level someday.
He has the talent. He's got the tools. He's young too, so that's a major plus.
James Davison, the young man from Melbourne, Australia, started 14th in this race. He's running in 15th, and this coming Thursday, James will celebrate his 22nd birthday. And by the way, Rafael Matos will celebrate his birthday the same day. He will be 27. Not much to show you in our Firestone lap leaders. It has been all Pablo Donoso so far. There he is on the left of your screen, and the second place car of Logan Gomez is behind. The separation is 1.4 seconds. Then we drop back to the third place car, Daniel Harrington. He's 5.8 seconds behind. Then Beatrice, Hildebrand, Antonucci, Matos, and Pereira.
And we see that Pereira is really closed in right there on the back of Rafa Matos. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing to keep an eye on right now is, you know, if Pereira has an opportunity to get by Rafa, then Rafa's going to be pretty upset by that, because that's gapping him. But I think there's enough respect from Frank Pereira, knowing what these guys are battling, that he won't do that. You know, that's us up here looking at it. There's a different feel as a driver with the helmet on and what you got to do out there.
And again, it would appear that Rafa is showing great restraint in staying where he is and not taking any chances of knocking himself or his competitor in the points championship, Antonucci, out of the race.
Yeah, and right back there, just going back, as you saw smoke coming from those cars, that's no concerns. What that is there's a big compression in that turn 1, and the cars bottom out, and that's just smoke coming from the under trays of these cars. So there's not an oil leak or anything going on with those guys.
Less than 9 laps to go in this second race here at Infineon Raceway. Down through the carousel and onto the drag strip. Meanwhile, those up front are at the end of the drag strip and in turn number 7. But right now, Donoso has a rather comfortable lead. At one point, 10 laps ago or so, with within about a half a second, but that has stretched out to a second and a half.
Yeah, we thought Logan was really going to be in a position to maybe strike, but he keeps getting gapped. I mean, Pablo's doing a great job and is pulling away a little bit each lap and making that a bigger gap.
There's Anna Beatrice, who is currently running fourth, but is third in the point standings. And right behind her, there's J.R. Hildebrand, who is running in fifth position and is fourth in the point standings, 72 behind.
No question, the inversion from race 1 to race 2 of the 8 spots has created some opportunity for those second half of that field.
Yep. Donoso leads. We'll be back with more from Infineon Raceway in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to Infineon Raceway, where Pablo Donoso continues to lead, but that isn't the story that's developed in the last few laps. Look at this.
Turn 9, there's Antonucci blocking, and oh, where do you go, Rafa? He goes through the dirt, so here they are side by side. Antonucci definitely blocked Rafa from coming in here. Watch him go to the inside. Here we're going to turn 9. He comes alongside. You can't get 2 cars through here. What are you thinking? Go through the dirt. But now, watch this. Rafa's going to repay the favor to Antonucci. There it is. Hello! and pushes him on. Now we heard maybe that now Antonucci, I love watching that.
Unbelievable.
But Antonucci now maybe has a little bit of a gearbox problem, or that's a professional punt.
Yes, no kidding.
Man.
No doubt about it.
That's...
Well, all of this has moved Matos to 6th and Antonucci to 7th, and it has given Matos a 3-point advantage in the point standings. There you go.
And we're looking at Antonucci there. We were getting on a radio that maybe he had punctured a tire, but it didn't look like it.
Well, in any case, there is 1 lap to go. Pablo Donoso, there he is, has already taken the white flag. 1 more lap on this 2.3-mile road course. Running second is Logan Gomez, but he is 2.3 seconds behind. Then comes Anna Beatrice. She's going to have a good finish if she can continue on this lap. And then J.R. Hildebrand running in 4th spot. And then back of that, it's Pereira, who of course got by both Matos and Antonucci during that little skirmish. Antonucci followed by, there's Rafa, who is running in 6th. And Antonucci is now in 7th position. So it took a while for something to develop, but when it developed, it was quite interesting.
It was great. And the good news here is both Rafa Matos, who's in 6th, Antonucci's in 7th, they're still close together point-wise. I mean, there's going to be, 3 points that will separate them at the end of this event as we roll into Chicago.
Boy, what a race that event in Chicagoland is going to be.
Yeah, what we just saw between those 2 championship contenders is that's hardball, professional. That's some great racing.
Pablo Donoso crosses the start-finish line and wins race number 2 here at Infineon. And he becomes our 8th winner of the year. And we're going to be back to talk with him and more about this on-track incident between Matos and Antonucci in a moment. Second race here at Infineon, won by Pablo Donoso. Logan Gomez finishes 2nd, Beatrice 3rd, Hildebrand 4th, and Pereira 5th. 6 through 10, Matos, Antonucci, Harrington, Guthrie, and Klein. The young man who drove last year in Silver Crown competition for A.J. Foyt has won here at Infineon. Let's go down to our Firestone victory lane and Mike King.
Pablo Donoso anxious to get out of this race car. He kisses victory lane here as he gets his first win at the Firestone Indy Lights Series. Pablo, congratulations. A dominating win. You lead every lap from the pole.
Yeah, this race was great, It's my second victory in this place. It's my second victory in USA. I won here in 2005. I love this place. Infineon is the best place for me, so I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy for my family. My family helped me all my life. They are the most important thing for me. Team Moore Racing gave me an awesome car. We did a good job, so it's our first victory, so next year is going to be good for us, guys.
Former IndyCar Series driver Eliseo Salazar brought this man here to win. He has done just that. That is Pablo Donoso. Bob?
And he is our 9th different winner in 2009. Let's take a look at the point standings. Rafael Matos has a 3-point advantage on Antonucci. As we head for Chicagoland, Anna Beatrice is 3rd in the point standings. J.R. Hildebrand is 4th, and Ari Leindyke Jr. is 5th in the point standings as we go to the final race at Chicagoland. Down to Mike King once again.
Rafa Matos winds up 6th here today at Infineon. And Rafa, a hard-fought 6th place. You and Antonucci going at it. You will go to the season finale with a 3-point lead in the championship.
Yeah, very tough race. The inversion on the grid makes things a lot more difficult for us. This track is extremely difficult track to make passing. And I got 5 runs on him. He blocked me 5 of them. And the last run he blocked me. He just completely brake checked me, and I had nowhere to go. He ran me off the chicane on the dirt. I had nowhere to go, and I guess you'll get what you deserve.
So words between Rafa Matos and Richard Antonucci following this one, and some hard feelings perhaps that are going to be carried into Chicagoland Speedway for the Firestone Indy Lights Series finale.
It was indeed an interesting race. Up front, not much action, but boy, we sure saw Matos and Antonucci have an interesting on-track skirmish. That's going to conclude our activity from Infineon. Again, the Chicagoland 100 will be live on ESPN2 Sunday, September 7th at 12:30 Eastern. For Robbie Buell and Mike King, I'm Bob Jenkins. This has been a presentation.